rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Welcome everybody from around the world. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem, and this is the BAK show, wherein we discuss the things which are important to you. Of course, I am your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem, and we are broadcasting live on YouTube and also on X. So, everybody, it's good to be here. I'm glad that you all are here, and we're going to get started. We're going to be talking about a bunch of things that have been going on here in Syria. Some of it's not exactly pretty, but we're going to have to kind of jump into it. There are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about before we jump into um, some of the topics. Last week, there was a post that I did wherein basically I was speaking against the U.S. Involvement here in Syria. Some people, and it was overwhelmingly positive, but some people had the idea, who is Bilal to speak on behalf of the Syrian people, is what some people said. Uh, who told you I was speaking on behalf of the Syrian people? First of all, I'm not Syrian. So why would I deem that I am speaking on behalf of the Syrian people? But I can say without a doubt, look, I'm not Palestinian either. And neither are those other people who speak out against the Israeli attacks. I mean, are they going to stop talking because somebody says, oh, the Israelis say, you're not even Palestinian. So what are you talking for? So the talking point actually makes no sense. I don't have to be Syrian to look and see what's going on in front of my eyes. And anyway, a lot of those voices, I'm just going to come out. I'm just going to say it like this. A lot of those voices were coming from when you look at their IP addresses on X. They're coming from Germany, the UK, and other places. So I would ask some of those people who have so much to say and who deem me to be a non-Syrian, which I am, and they are Syrian, which they are. Where were you for the 13 years of the war? I just put that out there, So I was here and I reported on what I saw, and I continue to report on what I see. So that's the deal. Second issue. There was a report that I did about a Malaysian young brother who, may Allah have mercy on him, was killed. He was arrested by Hayat Tahrir Sham back in 2019. 3 years, he was totally disappeared. There was no communication with his family in any way. And then in 2022, his family got a visit, and they were able to see him from time to time from 2022 to 2023. After Eid al-Adha in 2023, there were no more visits. They became curious. They contacted their security man at the Hayat Tahrir Sham, and he said to them that he was executed for his crimes. No trial, no lawyer, just interrogation, torture, and then execution. Now, some people said, which was I thought was really silly, but some people were saying that, Bilal, this is something personal between you and Ahmed Shara. This is a personal thing because, Bilal, you were in prison before, so now you want to bring down Ahmed Shara's government. Okay, the first thing is that I don't want to bring down Ahmed Shara's government. I support Ahmed Shara's government as a whole. I don't support Ahmed Shara. Is that clear? Like, for example, somebody might say, hey, I voted for Joe Biden, I voted for Hillary Clinton or something like that. I don't support a Donald Trump. That doesn't mean that they want the entire government to collapse and to fall. No, it doesn't mean that. This idea that it's either all or nothing. I mean, where are these ideas coming from? Anyway, so I want to make that clear that I support the new government, but I don't support Ahmed Shara and his immediate inner circle because their history and their current one is not one that is encouraging, and I don't think the Syrian people are going to benefit from them. Now, does that make me anti-Syrian? Well, that's up to you to decide. But I think that there's some good people doing some good things inside of the government. I think that they do care about the Syrian people, but I've seen a lot of things that are happening from the Ahmed Shara government. I'm sorry, from Ahmed Shara himself and his top ministers that really make me concerned. And that's the reality of the situation. Here, even in Syria, over the past couple of days, it's like a cocktail of governments who are operating here in Syria in the territories under the control of Ahmed Shara. For example, the Jordanians and the Americans launched 70 airstrikes this past weekend on suspected ISIS targets. 70 airstrikes by the Jordanians and the Americans, okay? You've got the Israelis who set up shop, their military, in another place in Quneitra. And they remain there. That's in southern Syria. They're still there. Another operation took place between American and Iraqi forces. They went house to house and did raids on suspected ISIS targets. Now, because this isn't a real situation wherein journalists can ask questions directly to the president or directly to the government, I would love to ask some questions. Like number one, what is going on? Is this the result? A total loss of sovereignty. Is this the result of the revolution? Is that one of the ideals of the revolution? That all of a sudden now we've got several different governments and their troops and their artillery landing on Syrian soil. I mean, is that what the revolution was about? And also, I would ask the question, where is all of this going? Because traditionally, once governments have a military foothold in a country, they don't walk away. And is this in line with the ideals of the revolution? I thought the revolution was about justice. But now what we're doing is we're seeing airstrikes on 70 different targets. Now, we also stated, now wait a minute, they said that these are retaliatory strikes against suspected ISIS hideouts. Okay, that's one. This is the result of the attack on the U.S. forces just last week. Now, let's dissect this for a second here. First of all, the lone attacker was killed. Second of all, I would ask the government, how did you know he was ISIS? Up until now, people who know him, whom I've spoken to, nobody saw him as ISIS. All right, if the Americans are saying they know something that everybody else doesn't know, well, I think that we need to know what that is. I mean, do we really want foreign governments just coming in, doing whatever it is that they want? Is that what's going to help Syria go to the next level? Please, guys, don't hit me again with, oh, Syria's weak. Syria's got to stand on its own 2 feet first. Syria's not going to stand on its own 2 feet. Not first or second or third. It's not going to happen, because as long as foreign governments can come in and run a wreck shop and you can't say anything about it, that's like a kid in a candy store. He's never going to leave. He's going to eat as much candy as he wants, sit down, digest, get up, go back to the shelves, and he's going to stay there. You'll never get rid of him. And therefore, you'll never, ever have sovereignty. So people have got to understand the Western playbook. I don't know how many books maybe Ahmed Shara has read on U.S. foreign policy. but he's walking right into the trap. That's the reality of the situation. Now, you may not like the fact that a brown fella from America is giving it to you straight. You might not like that part. But the reality of the situation is that the Americans ain't going. They're not leaving. I'm telling you. And when you've got the Iraqis and the Jordanians and they're pumping rounds over into Syria too with no accountability, and whatever happened to this Shura Council? Do they have a say-so in this whole thing? Are they supporting it? Are they against it? Do they have a voice? I don't know. They were elected back in October. Have they assumed their positions? Brothers and sisters, this is turning out to be a disaster. Now, I know people want to get up there and say, hey, we've lifted the sanctions and all. Lifting the sanctions wasn't the goal. Benefiting the Syrian people was the goal. Now, some people may say that that's a stepping stone to that. But at what expense? At the expense that you have all of these foreign governments here killing Syrians anytime, any place that they want. And why aren't we arresting these people and putting them on trial? I thought that was what this whole thing was all about. That's what I thought that the revolution was about, because Bashar al-Assad would just pick up people, put them in prison, and kill them. No trial, no nothing. And if they did appear before a judge, it was only ceremonial. You'd have a case against somebody, and his trial would be 30 seconds. Not kidding. I'm not kidding. I wasn't making a joke. It would be 30 seconds, and that would be it. It's all administrative. You don't get a chance to defend yourself. You may not even get a chance to speak. And that's the reality. But then you appeared before a judge. He was crooked. He wasn't going to give you justice, but you appeared before a judge. But now you've got these people here. There is no judge. It's just airstrikes from raining in from the sky. So where's it going to end, brothers and sisters? Everybody knows that the Americans are anti-Islam. So are they really going to limit these airstrikes only to quote unquote ISIS targets? Does anybody really believe that? Or is that going to be against anyone who opposes their power grab? Anybody who is a quote unquote Islamist who wants Islam, will they be branded as ISIS also? Allah knows best, brothers and sisters. But this, I can tell you straight up and down, this is not what the brothers fought for 13 years. And now, before anybody slams me with messages and all, if you are not in Syria and you weren't even in Syria for the 13-year war, and if you were in Syria, what were your efforts for the Syria for the revolution? And then talk, because so many people at the first sign of trouble, they ran away, and now they continue to be overseas, and yet they are feeling that I don't even have a right to speak about the issue. You can listen to what I have to say or not. It's up to you, and Allah knows best. Okay. Okay, let's take a look and see what this says. It says, if you really wanted to undermine the SDF, you would expel their American patron, and that would make them more cooperative. It's been said that the cooperation with the Americans is because they want to weaken the cooperation between the Americans and the SDF. I mean, like, that's your strategy? Why would the Americans stop dealing with the SDF when the SDF was giving them everything that they wanted, and they approved 2026's $130 million budget from the Pentagon back in October? What's the Americans' motivation to all of a sudden now dump the SDF? That's another trump card in their hands, no pun intended. So that's not clear that that would even happen. I don't even think that that was for real. I think that they just had to say something and all, and that was the best that they could come up with. But the Americans are not going to give up the SDF, and you've got even more trouble coming on the horizon, because the Turks aren't going to accept that the SDF would join the Syrian government as a single bloc. In other words, they wouldn't join the Syrian government and the Syrian military as individuals to be deployed here and there and here and there. Now, what they want is that they would enter, basically what they do is they take the Syrian flag with 3 stars on it, put it up on some of the government buildings and all, and then say, yeah, this is all one Syria, and that's it. But they control everything. They'll share some resources with the government in Damascus and all. And the Turks will say, nah, we ain't having it like that. So there's some big trouble coming, and it has to be monitored. Okay, let's take a look. Bilal, the Syrian people as a whole want America. That's the sad reality. No, I don't see it like that. I think that the Syrian people are misled into thinking that prosperity lies with the Americans. I don't think and I don't see that the Syrians want America. I don't see that because they understand very well who's backing the genocide against the Gazans and the Palestinians, even in the West Bank. So I don't find Syrians saying to me, yeah, we want America. What they will say is that, well, Syria is weak, so we don't have a choice. That doesn't mean that they want them. So that's not what I'm seeing. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. But that is just a lack of their tawakkul ala Allah, their lack of reliance upon Allah, that you are inviting the shaitan, who's not even coming in human form, by the way. And he's coming to your door with horns and red skin. And I'm not saying shaitan looks like that, but I'm just saying, you can understand the